Ayo, I owe some ideas here to the booklet Common Sense on Mass Immigration. Now, of course, my United States is a nation of immigrants and immigration has bettered us. But this cliche is misused as a blanket statement, ignoring that our entire immigration history has been exclusionary and conditional. Population problem. Our U.S. population in 1800 was only around 5.5 million. Even after our massive mid-1800s immigration influx, largely from those fleeing the Irish potato famine, our population was still only around 25 million in 1852. Even after the welcoming Statue of Liberty's erection in 1886, there were less than 65 million U.S. citizens. Now we're no longer an empty continent, but a crowded country of 350 million people, plagued with sprawl, pollution, and vanishing open space. Mass immigration cancels the deliberate decision of a country's citizens to limit their numbers by having fewer children, while choosing the size of the national family is the right of any nation. But in 1965, corrupt President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Immigration and Nationality Act, which undid healthy immigration boundaries. One resulting problem was chain migration, so applicants can gain entry under so-called family unification provisions. This allows all relatives to immigrate, not just spouses, minor children, and parents. Once they gain admission, the chain extends to their and their spouses, adult children, grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, in-laws, sons and daughters-in-law, pretend relatives, ad infinitum. This act shifted focus away from assimilation to quantity over quality, origins issue. As for exclusionary and conditional, throughout history it was understood that every nation had the right to select their own racial and ethnic makeup in addition to their size. Note America's stringent Naturalization Act of 1790. A similar codified proclamation with a slightly different focus was the Johnson-Reed Immigration Act of 1924, signed into law by President Calvin Coolidge. But again, the perverse 1965 Immigration and Nationality Act, signed by crooked President Johnson, broke down reasonable boundaries, including that of bloodline and national origin. From there, politicians in every branch and level of government dismantled procedures that screened out dangerous aliens attempting to get visas who masqueraded as upstanding guests. This culminated in the foreseeable, inevitable murders of 3,000 people on September 11, 2001. The State Department gave all 19 of the 9/11 terrorists entry visas despite previous laws that would have barred them all. To further dissuade your criticism of historical American values, consider that some countries never take in any immigrants. Other weakening. Although the USA's language unity enabled us to become the most successful quasi-multi-ethnic nation in modern history, that has been trashed by runaway multiculturalism. The result is lingual dissociation in which an expanding underclass is being balkanized into linguistic ghettos. That's disunity, exact opposite of united we stand. Also, the crazy lottery that granted tens of thousands of random people legal immigration passes. And now legal immigrants were poorly screened for disease, criminal history, and so forth. Illegals. But at least the United States still found illegal immigration unacceptable. But from 1986 on, further laxities granted amnesty to millions more who would otherwise be illegal. This slippery slope has now been coupled with increasingly less effort being put into enforcing the law against illegals, just capturing and deporting a few for every giant horde of illegals pouring through our borders. The inherent problem with illegal aliens is that their very nature requires absolutely zero standards for entry, since they're all self-selected. Any one of them could have escaped from a mental institution, be a drug addict or bum who wants to leech and never work, be disloyal to or even despise the United States, or be a criminal fleeing justice. In fact, over a quarter of prisoners in certain areas were illegal aliens. We could be allowing in some of the worst people on planet Earth. In fact, we have, as illegal aliens. Jordanis Martinez, after coming here, committed child sex abuse, grand theft auto, kidnapping, carjacking, and murder by beheading. After coming here, illegal Sebastian Zepeda Khalil murdered a woman by burning her alive in an unprovoked attack. Illegal Abdul Jallo, with more than 30 prior arrests before coming here, murdered a woman with many stab wounds in an unprovoked attack after being here. And mentally disturbed illegal Nicolas James Hernandez murdered 5 people after coming here. Yet sanctuary laws keep expanding to make apprehending illegals harder. Other illegals drive without a valid license or insurance, such as Harjinder Singh, who made an unlawful U-turn with a semi-truck, killing 3 people. And illegal aliens bypass all wellness tests and standards, threatening our nation's health. So, formerly curtailed diseases such as AIDS, cholera, hepatitis, measles, SARS, and tuberculosis are breaking out again. And third world diseases such as Chagas disease, dengue fever, and leprosy are appearing for the first time. Also, most border jumpers engage in tax evasion, often for the same reason. They avoid licenses, insurance, health checks, and other documentation. That is so they don't get into the system so that they're detected and deported. And uninsured aliens receive medical care, as do those who pay for health insurance. Government programs pay their medical costs, meaning taxpayers foot their bill. They also fail to pay Social Security taxes to benefit elderly and disabled workers, while they themselves want benefits. Potential illegals who fail to enter sometimes dump their children here to force us to care for them. And educating these children costs taxpayers $7 billion a year. ICE, despite all these considerations, mindless wrath is poured out against U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, their acronym being ICE. Illegal Eduardo Aguilar publicly called for the murder of ICE agents, offering $10,000 apiece. A maddened Jew brandished a pistol at ICE agents, and a lesbian tried to run one over with her car. These fools predictably paid with their lives. Many Americans have gone crazy like a zombie horde. Ulterior motives. 1. Greedy employers use foreigners to hold down wages, even costing many upstanding workers their jobs. They also want ever-increasing numbers of aliens to fill more airplane seats, amusement parks, apartments, hotels, school classrooms, and all else without thought of future consequences. 2. Others want to destroy the Gentile white race and traditional Christian values. Those with hidden motives have been voting in candidates who support their agendas. Bible examples. Misguided preachers note Bible examples of being welcoming and hospitable to foreigners to try to justify lax immigration influxes. But all such texts refer to only 1, 2, 3 people and never advocate permanent residence. Beware that some corrupt Bible translations change the Pentateuch's singular "the" or "a" sojourner, stranger, or wayfarer into an unlimited plural, and corruption of the Job passage into "I open my doors to everyone," which would be mighty foolish. In Nehemiah chapters 4-6, building a wall to keep large numbers of foreigners out was a godly undertaking that took precedence over other things. What must be done? 1. Illegal immigration. Enforce the U.S. Constitution's invasion clause. And so, A. Hunt down and remove everyone who's here illegally, no exceptions. B. Secure our borders and entry points, including completion of the U.S. Mexico border wall, also known as the Smart Wall, to span the entire 1,954 miles or 3,145 kilometers between us. 2. Legal resettlement. A. Establish an inclusive overall ceiling for legal immigration. Set this number limit at the level of emigration. B. Strict rules such as learn fluent English or get out and conform to the precepts of the Naturalization Act of 1790 and Johnson-Reed Immigration Act of 1924. C. Kick out all legal immigrants who are allowed here without following those rules.